Hey there, I'm Saw, and I guess some people know me as Lydia. And today I'm just gonna be rambling on about some RuneScape ideas, specifically PVM ideas that I've been working on. And but I say working on, but I think I wrote these ideas in like 30 minutes during a winter tot session between a farm run, so it's probably not that well spell checked and edited, and it's not on any fancy yellow text black background, so it's pretty ugly to look at. But if you see here, I have designed a challenge mode Theater of Blood idea. I got inspired to make an idea from an Adicon, I think, Twitter post I saw of his idea for raids. No, it wasn't Adicon. It was Lucid Dream, I think. Yeah, it was Lucid Dream's idea for raids 3. To be honest, I didn't even read it. I just saw the replies to it. Like just like my proposal here, it's done on text document and it's pretty ugly to look at. So I decided not to post it to Twitter just because personally I couldn't even read one myself. So maybe it'll be more easily understood when it's like read to you in like a video. And yeah, so it's a challenge mode Theater Blood idea. All right, so the name of the idea is like the Unexpected Encore. I decided around this name, well, like this theory, because it's like an encore, right? And you know, at Theater Blood, you're doing like a performance, right? Right, guys, you're doing a performance for like the people of the area, the vampire people. I don't quite know the lore. I'm not a lore hound myself, but it seems like you're putting on a performance, anyways. So it's not not normal for the people in the crowd to request an encore. So I'm thinking you've done Verzik, you completed the TOB, and all of a sudden you're given the option to do a final fourth phase of Verzik known as the Encore phase. Anyways, let's get right into it. So upon completion of Theater Blood and before opening the loot chest, yeah, so that's important. So you completed the TOB, you're still in Verzik's room, you haven't gone into the loot chamber yet, you don't know if you have a purple, you have to make the decision. Do I do this encore, or do I take my loot and leave? Because if you do the encore then die, it counts as a wipe, you don't get your loot from the original TOB that you did. And then, if you happen to complete the extra phase, the challenge mode phase, you can then get an additional roll at the loot table. So instead of 3 loot rolls for regular loot, you'd get a 4th. In addition, you get the new uniques that would be on the table, getting like a chance of getting those, and it would also re-roll the chance of a purple. So in the chance that you actually did have a purple in the first TOB that you did, so say in that TOB you rolled a purple, you never knew because you didn't go into the chambers to check, but say you did actually roll the purple, and then you completed the TOB, the fourth phase, and got another purple, just it'd obviously be unlikely, but you could have the chance of getting a double purple basically in a TOB challenge mode, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so all right, so let's get into, yeah, so if you die, you get no loot. So you have to basically gamble your loot, not knowing what it is, for the chance of increasing it slightly. And then if you lose all of it. If you die, it's all gone. So it's a risk. Anyways, let's get into the part people probably care most about, and that's the fight. So the fight, Verzik, she's like at the end of the last fight, she's like turns into a bat and flies away. I guess somehow her bat flies back and she turns back into a spider. I don't know how you do that, but anyways, she returns attacking on a 5-tick cycle. So instead of the 7-tick cycle that she does during the entire first 80% of the third phase, she's going to be doing that 5-tick cycle that you probably know from the 20% HP and lower phase. So she's going to be attacking at her increased speed the entire time. And identical to P3, Verzik will use, she'll use all her 4 standard attacks as followed. She'll use that crab spawn, the web spawn, the yellow projectile, and the green ball, except everything has kind of a unique twist onto it. So it's thematically like the same order for everything. It's just there's some added mechanics to everything. All right, so Verzik's special attack is as follows. Okay, let's go first with the Nylocus. The Nylocus will summon so they'll summon style alternating Nylocus. And a style alternating Nylocus is like the ones from the Nylocus room in the 3rd room. They like switch from mage to range to melee. Like I think it's like every 2 ticks or something they're switching. So that's probably something like that. So those bomb crabs that she spawns, they'll now be like constantly switching colors. It's not a big buff to like make it harder or anything, but like sometimes you're scything the melee ones if it spawns near you, and so now like you have to kind of pay attention a little bit more to the timing of when you do that. Like that's not a big difference. It's kind of not much you can do here with the crabs. And another twist I put onto the crab bombs is once you kill the big one, they split into 2 smaller ones, and then 2 smaller ones are attacking you too. And do they blow up like bombs? Maybe you make them blow up like bombs, or maybe you just make them attack you. I'm not sure. Because I think having 2 bombs would kind of be annoying. You defeat the bomb, then the little ones come and blow up on you. So I think just having the little ones turn into those baby crabs and then just having them just gnaw on you and be annoying is probably better. So that would be my idea for the Nylocus part. It's not a big change. It's just some tiny things there. The next stuff gets much bigger. Okay, so next we have the sticky webs. So I call them sticky webs, but now they're kind of like poisonous sticky webs. Anyways, so Verzik, in her 2nd special attack, she goes to the center room and she starts like spinning around, shooting webs out the inner and the outside of the room, and you basically run in circles attacking her. Now I'm proposing that in the challenge mode, 4th phase, Verzik actually doesn't always rotate the same direction. So kind of like how Bloat runs both directions, now Verzik can spin both directions. I don't know if you can do her changing directions while she's spinning, because you kind of just like path into webs, and I just don't think that would be that fun of a mechanic. I think just having it choose randomly a direction to rotate, like having it different every time would be better. So sometimes it's rotating counterclockwise, sometimes clockwise. You just have to like put that added, you just have to pay attention a little bit more onto what she's doing. So everyone's probably too used to running, clockwise, I guess, if you're facing north. I'm not sure. I think north is the outer throne of the room, so that'd be clockwise. But yeah, so this would just be a different way of spinning. And if you land on the webs, they would also instantly poison you. So if you're wearing the Serp Helm, that poison wouldn't apply, but now you have to think a little bit more. It's like, it's not worth getting hit by this poison. Like, is it worth, like, do I need to bring antidote? Probably not, because I don't know how strong this poison is going to be. It's just kind of another mechanic just to annoy people, maybe. Obviously, everything I'm proposing doesn't have to be what happens, but I'm just trying to give as much ideas as I can, I guess. So just having the webs poison immediately would be interesting. And also, if another mechanic would be, if you land on these webs, now when the damage is applied, you know how it does it like big bursts of damage after you've been standing on the webs for a while. Now that damage would heal Verzik similar to the tornadoes. Like, had you walked on a tornado, now you're going to be healing Verzik. I think having healing mechanics is really good, because it just added so much more difficulty and it really punishes mistakes. So, and I like that. All right, so this is my favorite mechanic that I designed here. It's the maybe second favorite, actually. I think the next one's actually like better. But yeah, the yellow projectile. So the yellow projectile, you have to, like, those little portals appear, those auras, and they appear around the map, and everyone has to scatter to one of them and stand on it before Verzik does her attack. And if you're not standing on it, you get hit a bunch of damage. So now, instead of each player having one aura per player in the room, there would be 2 auras per player in the room. So now, if you're doing a 4-man, there's 8 yellow auras, and you have to scatter to one of them. It's like, oh, well, you guess you would think if there's more auras, then it's easier, but it's not, because each aura per person, so one of the auras is going to be the imposter, not the imposter aura. It's going to be called the decoy aura. So one of the auras, like, they look real, and then once you stand on them, they like vanish. It's like, oh, this is the decoy, you gotta go to the other aura. So like there's a lot of like decoy ones that are around that you have to constantly be moving, trying to find which ones are the real auras, which ones are fakes. So it just adds a lot more difficulty to it. All right. Yeah, that's about it. I think that was all I had for that mechanic. Just the aura, there's a decoy. Yeah. And it vanishes like the second you stand on the fake one, it'll instantly disappear. So you're not like waiting on it to find out that it's fake for too long. Anyway, so the green ball attack. Okay, this is my favorite attack. Yeah, the green ball, Verzik launches a green ball, and the ball must be bounced 3 times to allow it to dissipate safely. So this exists right now in Verzik, but most people just tank the ball, which is kind of lame because it's like there's so much mechanics behind this ball and no one uses it. It's like you rarely bounce the ball. So I'm in this hard mode Verzik, I've thought of maybe making this mechanic more worth it. So now the green ball, so if you remember from like Soda Seg, you get that red ball, right? And sometimes you get the red ball at like 0.1%. You've just killed Soda Seg. The red ball's coming towards you. You run through the gate and you're like, oh, field goal, right? The field goal thing. So now you like the green ball, you kind of take the green ball, and if you run through Verzik and path through her, and then the green ball like makes contact with the Verzik, it will apply a damage. So it's kind of like using her own attack against her. You just have to be like pathing correctly. So instead of just running around the room aimlessly in the corners trying to heal up, now you can just like path through Verzik, take the ball with you, and then it'll explode on her, doing a bunch of damage. And you can increase the damage that this ball does if the ball has been previously bounced. So you get the green ball, you start bouncing it around to your teammates, and every bounce you do, every bounce to a unique player that you do would like increase the ball's damage by like double or whatever, by an increased amount. So like say you bounce it 3 times, you got this ball that's 3 times stronger than a ball had you not bounced it. And then you run through Verzik and you do a big like burst of damage to her. And that big burst of damage is going to be incredibly useful in the next phase. So timing this green ball attack with like the next phase, I mean the next phase isn't like the phase where the tornadoes are coming at you. Like that's the part where you like spec down really quickly and want to get it over with. Yeah, you're going to want to like maybe save the green ball for that time and then do that big attack there. Yeah, so I think I went through everything for the green ball idea. Yeah, you can attack Verzik with the green ball, you can bounce it to increase the damage. Yeah, and I guess if you bounce it to the same player twice, it would just do that increased damage to the player. So instead of hitting the 74 or whatever damage that it does, like if you increase the damage, it would do an increased damage to the player. So you like, it's high risk, high reward, right? So you got to really make sure you're on your game. All right. I'm not sure at which part of the fight, but at somewhere near the fight, I set around 50%. When she has 50% of her hit points left, she does a healing phase. I guess you could lower it a little bit, but I think you can't really go under 40% because 40% gets into like gets too close to the 20% where you get the tornadoes coming. So I think 50% to 40% or 60% is a good range to do it in. What I'm talking about here is a red crab healing phase. So I'm going to say for this purpose, it's 50%. All of a sudden, red crabs start just piling out of like the loot chambers. So remember how after you complete Verzik, there's this loot chamber that opens up like under her throne or whatever. There's like a hole. So out of that, red crabs start like coming one at a time out. It'd be like 1 or 2, I guess 2 red crabs per person in the room. So you got a 4-man, 8 crabs in total will come out. One at a time, they'll be coming out. And anyways, basically, this is kind of like a Maiden, 2.0. If those red crabs reach Verzik, they're going to heal her for a set amount of HP, probably whatever HPs they currently have. So exactly like Maiden, but in Verzik. And this will kind of add like an added mechanic where the tank is kind of forced to lead Verzik to the south corner of the room, far away from the entrance where the crabs are coming from. So you have the tank take Verzik all the way over there, and then the other people in the room will be sitting at like the throne area in the north room, just freezing the crabs, DPSing them, making sure they don't reach Verzik to heal her. Because if they heal her, they will increase her damage, just like Maiden. Same mechanics there. Yeah, I think having a healing phase where there's a different mechanic rather than just changing each mechanic that she currently has a little bit, just adding an entirely new thing would be pretty cool. So, I think a red crab phase would be awesome. So hopefully that made sense. Just picture a bunch of red crabs just parading through the room, trying to get to Verzik, just like Maiden. And you just have to like freeze them, stop them from getting there. I think it'd be a lot of fun to mess with. Anyways, okay, the tornadoes, this is the final mechanic. The tornadoes are probably one of the best, during the last 20% is probably like the most intense part of the whole fight. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people die during it. There's so many times where you're that one person left, and it's pretty stressful, to say the least. So let's make it a little bit harder. The tornadoes now have a blood trail effect similar to the blood spawn. So those blood spawns from Maiden, now the tornadoes have that blood trail effect. So those tornadoes are just going around the room following you, leaving around a trail of blood. And if you stand in the blood, you're going to heal Verzik, you're going to take damage. I think to balance this, you have to make sure that the blood paths don't last as long as they do in Maiden. So make them maybe last like half the time. But yeah, basically make the tornadoes have a blood trail, so you're forced to not walk over the same area twice. You have to like go around the room, take her with you, and this might ruin some just stand there mechanics that are kind of boring. So this just requires you to move around a lot and make sure you have pretty good pathing. And then obviously if you stand in the tornado, you will also heal Verzik, similar. You'll take damage, half your HP of damage, just like already in Verzik. Excuse me. So to go over the mechanics, I'll just go over them quickly. So Nylocus, the Nylocus bombs, they now flash different colors. You have to put a little bit more effort in that. And when they explode, they leave behind two babies that just sit there attacking you. You have to kill them off too. And then the sticky webs, they now poison you if you land on them, heal Verzik if you land on them. Verzik can spin and shoot webs in the other direction. The yellow projectile attack, there's 2 auras per player. One of them is a decoy, and the decoy, if once you stand on it, vanishes and you have to be forced to go to the one of the other ones that's legit. The green ball attack, you can bounce like you could, and now when you bounce it, it increases a damage counter, and that damage can be applied to Verzik if you run through Verzik with the green ball. So the person who has green ball targeting can run through Verzik and use the green ball as like a mass damage attack. Kind of like a field goal, yeah. And then the Nylocus healing phase, Nylocus starts spewing out of the loot chamber one at a time, parading towards Verzik, healing her. If they get to her, you have to try to stop them from getting to her. And then last but not least, tornadoes now have a blood trail. I think it's enough of a mechanic addition, like that it's still the same TOB, but it's a lot more. It's like at least something's different rather than if you just multiply all the damage numbers and stats by a certain number like they did for chambers. I think this at least adds like a little oomph to it, makes it a lot harder, and also has the chance of receiving additional loot. All right, let's get into the loot. So I didn't really think too much into the loot, but obviously you have to have a metamorphic, let's call it a metamorphic ash, which adds a transmog to the Verzik pet. And then you'll have, I don't think I've heard this idea. I just had thought about it. I've been thinking too much about dyes recently, but you can add like a dye. So there's like a dye bottle, a blood dye bottle that you can get as a unique. It's kind of like the twisted kits, but this blood dye is applied to your weapons. Probably, I've only really thought about applying it to the scythe, I guess, for now. But, I just don't want a red rapier because like there's already enough red weapons. There's already the salad blade that's red, and I think having a red rapier is just gonna be like confusing, making it easier to confuse with the salad blade. So I've only thought about making a blood dye for the scythe, and it basically turns your scythe like blood red, gives it like a deep blood color. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with dyes. Dyes like just add a unique twist to the game. Like everyone looks the same, and this can make people look a little different. Oh, I got Pyromancer boots, pog. And this will make people look different around the map, you know? Like I'm all for recolors. Maybe not graceful recolors, because graceful recolors are like, what? There's so many of them. They're kind of pointless, but it's kind of a cool flex to get a blood dye and apply it to your scythe and be that one guy with a red scythe, right? Right, guys? Right? All right. And yeah, so that's it for my idea. Like I said, when you complete the raid, you will have that additional roll. It's like you're doing a second raid, I guess. You'd have an additional 1 in 9 chance to receive a purple. So it's essentially like you're doing that whatever 4 or 5 minute phase 4 for the additional chance of a purple. And if you had gotten a purple previously from the original raid, you could have the chance of getting a second purple. It wouldn't cap it out at just 1. You could get 2 in 1 raid. Obviously not that likely, but there'd be that chance. And then all the regular loot, you get an additional roll. So instead of getting the 3 drops of Runite ore, which looks pretty damn good, you can get the 4 now. That'd be pretty pog. I think I added some possible changes. I forget what I wrote here. Oh yeah, so I was thinking, you know how Verzik attacks faster below 20%? Maybe now you change it so since Verzik's attacking faster the entire time, maybe at 20% she now attacks at 4 ticks, at a 4 tick cycle, a little faster. I think that would probably mess up the animations of Verzik and be annoying to do, and might mess up some timing stuff, but that's a thought. And maybe allow players to purchase supplies. Oh yeah, this is big. So I was thinking that after you defeat Verzik, now you can spend your points to like kind of like after the soda seg room and after bloat, you can spend your points to get more potions, because this is probably gonna require a lot more potions and you're probably pretty low already. I think not allowing people to repot is probably gonna be like just be more annoying than fun. So just giving the people at least the option to repot and spend their points on potting would be nice. And then I was talking to some people about the idea, and we came up with a little like a stomp attack. Maybe you give Verzik like a stomp attack. I'm not a big fan of it, because the whole green ball mechanic is kind of like you have to run through Verzik, and I don't know how that would work with a stomp. But it's an idea, something to consider. Anyways, God, I don't know how long this has been. 23 minutes. Well, I guess if you made it this long in the video, then I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed. Like, hats off to you, you know? You listen to me ramble about this silly idea I made during a Winterdog game because I'm bored. Personally, I would love watching this Challenge Mode Theater Blood idea like being played, but doing it myself probably not, because I'm way too invested with skilling right now. So I guess if you want to watch, like if you would like me to make more videos, maybe some stuff about myself and future game updates, and maybe like leave a like and let me know. But I guess I've rambled on too long now. Thanks for watching. XOXO.